please, what's your emergency?
Elite investigative units charged with tackling the most complex of crimes.
Tracing cryptocurrency was much harder than anything I've ever investigated.
We shared information with law enforcement agencies internationally.
Tracking down the guilty.
They are clever and they're dangerous.
Male's got several stab wounds to his leg and felt one in his chest.
You can see the terror in his eyes.
To bring them to justice.
For a second we thought he was getting away with it.
Get him, Roll, ram him now!
With inside access to the UK's most skilled detectives.
We'll spend years putting together all of these tiny pieces of evidence.
We follow their toughest cases.
No real who did it.
Reveal their unique methods.
We found blood on the beige jacket.
And the vital evidence.
This was gold dust for us.
That puts Britain's most hardened criminals behind bars.
It's about time we started hitting them where it hurts.
So you got conned?
Yeah, I got conned.
2020. As Britain gets used to lockdown, computers and phones are crucial to many isolated and elderly people.
She's a vulnerable older lady, clearly why she was targeted by the offenders.
Organised crime gangs are operating across the UK, using them to wage a campaign of terror on pensioners trapped in their own home.
Somebody came on the line and said, your computer's been, and we're cutting it off.
These victims were called 20 or 30 times a day to really gain their trust.
Targeting them on a daily basis.
It's just like somebody putting a spell on you to do things that they want you to do.
Stealing their hard-earned cash.
How much was it that you took for that?
6,000.
Tragically, the savings that she had were to go towards her funeral costs.
And leaving them scarred for life.
I was just like a zombie, crying all day. There was nothing I could do.
I'm going to detain you under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act. The reason for that is the passengers look a bit spaced out, and yourself.
6:42 p.m, 29th of April 2020, Met officers stop a black Audi S3.
I do believe that the three of you together could be up to something, not really been able to say where you've been, where you're going.
The UK is in lockdown, making the officers highly suspicious of their movements.
How come you're carrying a large amount of cash?
It's not really a large amount to me personally.
No?
No.
Okay. Do you normally carry cash?
I do, yes.
It's also a fair bit of money.
Oh, I've just taken a deposit for what I just sold.
And how much was it that you took for that?
6,000.
And where's the rest of the money?
Right, just there in the car.
In the car?
Yeah.
So you got no receipt or no proof of that?
No, I sold the vehicle.
So it was on there for £5,200?
Yeah, that's how much you sold.
Okay. And then they giving you cash for it, have they?
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's quite a lot of cash though on you, and he can't prove that he did buy that car. Which means we should do about the money.
The officers remain suspicious. With no evidence that the money relates to criminal activity, they have to let them go.
I went to the bank, drew out 2,000. I told him that I got the money and everything, because he keeps phoning up.
4 weeks later, in May 2020, Dorset police receive a report of couriers targeting and swindling thousands of pounds from vulnerable pensioners.
And he said he sent someone over, his courier, and he gave me a 4-digit code. His courier had to give me that 4-digit code when he got here.
Right.
Which he did, and then he took the money and went on.
I'm Detective Constable Thomas Norman, and I'm based in the CID at Bournemouth Police Station. At any moment, a crime can come in, and we have to react and respond to it. So that's a challenge.
As the reports come in, DC Thomas Norman and his team start to take witness statements from the victims.
So Barbara was our first victim, and she was really at the fore of our investigation. She lived in supported accommodation where people were at hand to assist her. She had family and she was very much supported by her son.
70-year-old Barbara has been disabled for most of her life. She says she's been forced to hand over a total of £15,000 to a man named James, who's been calling her over the last month.
She was contacted on the 26th of April 2020 by someone who purported to be from her internet service provider, which was a pretty standard modus operandi.
My name is Damien Crunny. I'm the Fraud Protect Officer. My job involves engaging with the Dorset community to help them understand how to protect themselves from fraud.
The phone goes and this bloke comes on the line and he says, "Oh, I'm from Virgin."
The attempted fraud follows a fairly classic series of steps.
The offenders put themselves as an authority figure. This means that the victim will more than likely undertake actions that they tell them to do. That's the first tactic. The second tactic is that they then introduce a problem.
They told her that she had an issue with her internet connectivity and her router. They kind of say, look, you have experienced slow broadband, haven't you, recently?
The victim is being told there's something wrong, so their emotions have changed to now concern. But then the offenders throw them a lifeline.
They told her that she would get £500, they would replace her router as a gesture of goodwill.
So their emotions have now changed. They're still doing what the authority figure says, but they're happy that the problem's going to be solved.
The so-called operator keeps Barbara on the line so she doesn't have a moment to question what's happening or seek advice.
They're then being told to download something onto their laptop. And again, they're following instructions because they are in that happy state that it's going to rectify it.
The download allows them to access Barbara's computer. She's told to open her internet banking so they can reimburse her.
Once they had remote access, they could then see her typing bank details, passwords, and even move the mouse around and engage with her on her computer. And they actually then said to her, we're going to give you £700 as opposed to £500.
The offenders will make it look on their screen as if they've made an error.
Oh my goodness, Barbara, you silly, what have you done? You've typed in 7,000 by mistake. I know these things happen. Don't worry, it's not a problem. However, we need to get that money back.
The offenders were saying, oh no, I'm going to lose my job. Can you help me? So as human beings, we want to help each other, the majority of us.
We can't transfer the money back electronically. What you need to do is go to your bank, withdraw the cash, and we'll send someone around to collect it from the company.
We have one party that is in control, and we have another party that is in a position to assist.
It was late on in the evening, the banks weren't open. She had a sleepless night. You know, I've got money that doesn't belong to me, this isn't right. But she very much kept it to herself. She didn't want to worry other people about it.
The next day, on the 27th of April, Barbara goes to her bank.
She told the bank that she wanted to withdraw £5,000 cash to help her son. Thankfully, the bank turned her away and said, we're not comfortable with giving you that money on this date. Barbara then went home, her mind's racing as to what's happening to her and what's going on.
The scammers are undeterred and continue to bombard Barbara with calls, determined to get their hands on her money.
Sadly, it is not uncommon for elderly people to keep money at home. And Barbara did have an amount of money at home. You can imagine sort of a scared elderly lady, her phone's ringing off the hook with people badgering her to say, come on, Barbara, you need to get this money for us.
Terrified, trapped, and isolated in her home, she feels she has no option other than handing over more of her savings.
She followed the instructions. She took £1,500 cash. She took another trip out to the post office and then sent it recorded delivery to this address in London. They were saying to her, look, you now need to send us a picture of the post office receipt so that we're sure that you've sent it to us.
But it doesn't end there.
They said, well, sorry, Barbara, that's not enough. We need more. So she then, again, dipped into her savings, and tragically, the savings that she had were to go towards her funeral costs.
There are organised criminal gangs, and this is a business to them. So at the end of the day, it is a spreadsheet of how much money they have made. So there is no understanding how it is going to affect the victims long term.
She had £4,500, and a courier came round to her address and collected the money. They'd say they were from a company called Trans Global Services, which was a fictitious company. They had the password motorcycle. They looked the part. They'd had a high-vis jacket.
29th of April, the relentless calls stop.
They actually did something very clever. They said, we're going to give you a day off and we'll start again tomorrow. So Barbara was then tied into that relationship.
As promised, the day after, the scammers are back.
They were coming back time and time again, which we know 1 in 5 people that have been frauded will be frauded again.
On the 5th of May, Barbara, wearing her distinctive red coat, makes her final trip to the bank.
We were approached by the bank, who informed us of an elderly lady who was trying to make cash withdrawals. And the police had gone there to try and find out what was going on, and they'd escorted her home to get some more information.
Even though the police are now involved, the scammers are undeterred.
She was still receiving telephone calls to try and extract more money from her. The person on the end of the line knew she was wearing a red coat. Barbara had absolutely no idea. How did they know I was in a red coat? They're watching my address. Have they got cameras in my address? That really rang alarm bells. Is someone watching her? Is her house under surveillance?
Whilst the police try to account for this disturbing escalation, they receive 2 more alarming 999 calls.
Right then, how can I help you today?
Right. I'm a 90-year-old man, been in business all my life.
Okay.
And I've been completely conned like a 2-year-old child.
So you say that you did give this guy some money. How much did you give him?
£2,700.
Then when did you give him the money?
It's yesterday.
Richard is the latest victim of a group of highly organised scammers. A 90-year-old retired engineer, he is a lifelong speedway enthusiast and war hero.
We'd identified 2 other victims in Dorset who had been victim in very similar circumstances. We realised that this could be the tip of the iceberg.
The growing number of victims suggests this has all the hallmarks of organised crime. There's no evidence yet, but Dorset police are on the hunt. Operation Safeguard is launched.
We knew that the people that were likely to be part of a far bigger picture, potentially working for or with someone overseas.
With any live scam, it's vital to track down the ringleaders.
It is worldwide, and it's very difficult to trace where the initial call or message or email comes from.
The officers hunt for vital clues in the victim's statements that might lead them to the scammers.
We really had some good, tangible lines of inquiry to follow in terms of trying to identify our suspect. Barbara, she was able to provide us with a notepad where she'd scribbled down notes about times of day that people had attended her address.
And Barbara also still has the address that she posted the £1,500 to.
The address led us to identifying a potential ringleader in London, and he very much matched the description of one of the couriers.
Another victim reported that they were driving a black Audi S3. He had recorded the number plate.
And this was a really crucial part for us. We can then use national intelligence systems to search the registration. We know his name, we know his date of birth.
It's a major breakthrough for DC Norman. Not only is the Audi S3 registered to the address in London, it transpires that this particular black Audi had been subject to stop and search 4 weeks prior.
So I've got like £6 in cash, and I got a fair bit of cash on them as well.
During the search, the officers found a significant amount of cash, and that was really crucial information for us.
There could be a critical piece of evidence that connects the stop and search to the Dorset Courier frauds.
The really important thing was that stop was on the evening when 2 gentlemen in Bournemouth were defrauded on the 29th of April. So I knew that that car had been coming back from Dorset, and that cash belonged to the 2 victims.
It's imperative they act fast before the suspects know the police are onto them.
Ultimately, we want to impact the organised crime group and disrupt them and stop them. Because if we take one courier off the street, they'll be replaced by another one. So we want to go up the chain, if you like. We were pretty confident that we were in a position to make the call to arrest.
On the 1st of June, they apply for PACE Section 8 warrants for 3 locations across South London.
If we go to one address, potentially they're on the phone to the other people to say, oh, the police are around, make yourself scarce.
The warrants are executed simultaneously, 2 for the couriers' homes and 1 for the ringleaders.
The ringleader, he didn't have a significant criminal history by any means. However, there was a matter from 2016 of a fraud where he'd been working at a betting shop. I went on the search warrant for the ringleader. The car was there, the ringleader was there, and the main courier was at his address.
The suspects are apprehended and read their rights, while the police start to search the different premises, looking for evidence relating to the crimes in Dorset.
There were high-vis jackets in various locations. Really significant, and we found a shoebox in a cupboard with sterling notes wrapped with an elastic band, and there was £4,020. We've seized 4 key phones that we wanted to get into as a priority in a matter of urgency.
The phones go to the digital forensics unit. The team now have 24 hours to question the 2 suspects.
I am DS Eleanor Jones. I'm based in Dorset Police. The CID department that I work in currently deals with serious and complex crime.
Many suspects make no comment whatsoever during a custody interview. The police don't know what to expect when they begin the interrogation.
How many times can you remember coming to Dorset?
Not a lot, 3-4 times.
So you came 3 or 4 times?
Yeah.
Okay. Where was that journey?
To Bournemouth.
It was to Bournemouth?
Yeah.
And what car do you drive?
I drive an Audi S3.
You maybe anticipated a no-comment interview, but now they're talking to you. That can be helpful because there can be time-critical lines of inquiries that we can do. If a suspect says, I was at this place on this date at this time.
How frequently have you been travelling down to Bournemouth together?
From my knowledge, there's only been 2 occasions. Once when I came down in his S3, and once when I drove my own car.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And when were those times?
I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head.
You've not asked at any point what the journey's for?
It's not my business to ask someone what their intentions are or what they're doing. I've just gone as a friend. I literally stated to him, I'm more than happy to come and keep you company for the journey.
You can see how much he is willing to talk about. He's giving an account for movement. He's accepting that he's travelled down here.
A black iPhone with, is it Baleaga on the back of the phone?
Yeah.
Whose phone is that?
That's mine.
That's your phone?
Yeah.
What's the PIN for that phone?
I've got a lot of private stuff on my phone. If I'm not obliged to disclose that, I would rather not.
If someone doesn't want to give their PIN number, for me, automatically alarm bells are ringing. Immediately I'm thinking there must be information on that phone that I want to see and you don't want me to see.
Is there going to be any communication on that device that shows your involvement in defrauding people of money?
No.
The interviewing officers build a picture of the suspects' relationship to each other.
So I've known him since secondary school.
And then how regular do you have contact with him?
To be honest with you, I'm basically his daughter's uncle. So I have quite a lot. You're probably talking about 3 times a week.
That male courier, we know that he worked in the prison service. We don't know whether maybe his calm, collected approach arose from familiarity with engaging with law enforcement.
At the time, he was on suspension for suspected wrongdoing, but he had no previous convictions.
Prior to arrest, what phone were you using?
The X.
And what's that PIN?
2988.
Okay.
So I completely master reset, which ended up making it do a full wipe of my phone.
Did he wipe his phone to cover up his involvement in the fraud on the 29th of April, where the victim handed over £2,600 to couriers just hours before the stop and search in London? The victim was Chris, a 54-year-old bachelor and former coach driver living alone in Christchurch.
On the 29th of April, when they collected the money, your vehicle is activated an ANPR camera going in towards the border of Dorset around 4 o'clock in the afternoon and then heading out about an hour later at 5:05. Do you know what that journey was for on that day?
I'm not too sure.
Officers interview the suspects simultaneously, cross-referencing their accounts of the day to see if they match up.
Mr. earlier that day had handed a courier in a black Audi a sum of money in a white envelope. Is it a case of that you have gone down, collected this money and opened the envelope, and that envelope is from Mr. and that money is from
As I
what you
said, I
collected.
taking a white envelope.
If we find that money, are we going to find any traces of his DNA on that money? Okay. Let's talk about when did he first get into that car that day?
I believe we picked him up near the prison service.
Okay.
I think he just got suspended on that day.
What's happened between 9:30 in the morning of him being suspended, and then late in that afternoon, this gentleman is then had money collected, and then a couple hours later you've been stopped in London in a car together?
The interviews do highlight some discrepancies in the two suspects' stories.
So on the day that you were suspended, came and collected you from your house and you went for a drive around Wimbledon. That was in the afternoon?
That was in the afternoon. I was with him for a while.
Okay.
And a laugh and a chat and a joke in the car.
Okay.
So we stopped, we had a ball in the car, we did a couple of kick-ups, and well, said that he couldn't be asked to drive, and I said, well, I'm fully comp. Started driving.
So you were stopped at 6:42, but that vehicle was down in Dorset at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's mad. So he must have got, I don't know how he's managed to do that.
And then it's heading out of Dorset at 5:07 that evening.
Bloody hell. And then got down to, what's it called? London by 6:42.
Yeah. But you did go to Dorset?
I didn't go to Dorset.
The narrative didn't fit at times, and once we clarified it, he maybe got a bit frustrated with that. Maybe he thought that he could give an account that wouldn't be questioned.
Officers now turn their attention to the calls made to each victim.
Are you responsible for making any phone calls to any of these victims? No. We've got Barbara. Does that name mean anything to you?
No names that are on this will mean anything to me.
Okay.
I've never seen them before, never looked at them.
Okay, Richard.
No.
And Christopher. Okay.
Finally, there's a major breakthrough. The ringleader admits that they are part of a wider network and that the person making the calls is in India.
Basil. I don't know his last name.
Basil?
Yeah, Basil.
Have you ever met him?
No.
When did Basil contact you?
I think it was probably about mid-March, beginning of April. Conversation was generally along the line of, I don't know if you want to make a little bit of extra money by just doing, a few odd jobs for the company. And because their call center's not in the UK, it's very hard for them to receive their mail and stuff like that.
The UK-based ringleader did tell us that he was working for a particular individual running an internet service provider. This was all legitimate, and says that he was attending the addresses to collect faulty routers.
The team is still waiting for the phone data to see if it proves they defrauded Chris on the 29th of April. But after 24 hours of intense interviews, the custody deadline is up. They have to let the suspects go.
This is a serious and complex investigation, and we were nowhere near ready to charge them.
Then the phone goes, and this bloke comes on the line, and he says, I'm from Virgin, London, and all this, and we go right through the system, and he brings everything up on the screen. What do you want all this information for? He said, well, I'm trying to get you connected to the internet online. It didn't register, obviously it didn't register.
Dorset police are investigating claims from 3 local pensioners who have been swindled out of over £20,000 between them. Fraud accounts for over 40% of all crimes. And officers suspect this is the work of an international organised crime gang.
I was confident that we were dealing with the right people, but like any criminal investigation, we need to prove our case. We need to prove that they went to Dorset. We need to prove that they knew that they were committing fraud.
After an agonising 10-day wait, the Digital Forensics Unit delivered the data.
Once we had got into the suspect's mobile phone data, we knew the offence timeframes, we knew from ANPR the dates and times that the offenders had travelled down to Dorset.
The huge challenge now is to prove how an internationally organised fraud has been executed.
Someone in the call centre in India would be on the phone as the go-between between their victim and the courier to make sure that they went to the right place and that the money was ready and waiting for them. The ringleader and the person in India worked together in this country, so They knew each other. They weren't just brought together through criminality. The ringleader involved the others and pressed on them because of their friendship, and they wanted to earn some extra cash. It played out within the WhatsApp messages. So we had reference to Barbara. The ringleader would say, yeah, we're good to leave London. How much is it? Does she have the cash? This was gold dust for us.
Phone evidence could be crucial.
You had the person in India and the ringleader and the main courier and another courier talking to each other and describing the events that were unfolding that we already knew about. So around the time that they were defrauding Barbara, we had the main ringleader messaging the other courier to say that there was a police helicopter in the air. He used the phrase, duck it out, so get out of there. The cops are around, if you like. We had the main courier messaging the ringleader to say, do I really have to go down to Dorset on my own? It's a bit risky.
The WhatsApp messages indicate that they were up to no good, but officers need to prove that they are involved in a scam. Deep digital searches throw up some vital evidence.
We knew the hierarchy. It informed us about how busy that team were. There was a photograph of quite a crude Excel spreadsheet sent between the ringleader and the person in India. And that all related to how much cut the ringleader was going to get in the UK as opposed to how much money was being sent back to India. The ringleader was getting 18% of anything that he collected.
The scammers were using Hawala, a controversial money transfer system that allows funds to be moved between countries without leaving a trace.
If you make money through crime, you have to get rid of that money somehow. You have to conceal it. They were going into a foreign exchange bureau in London, depositing large amounts of sterling, and then that was being realised in India in rupees.
The messages also expose the true character of these callous scammers.
There were some really awful, saddening, despicable things in those messages about our victims, about them being vulnerable, about them falling for it. This person's gullible. It was quite personal in terms of the fact that we've got another victim and this is how easy it's going to be for us.
The WhatsApp traffic included deeply disturbing evidence from another unidentified member of the gang.
When Barbara went to the bank for the last time, she came back from the bank in a red coat. The police had gone there to try and find out what was going on, and they'd escorted her home to get some more information about what was happening. And at that very time, one of the couriers is sitting in her road waiting to collect the cash. The female courier took a photograph of Barbara, sent it to the ringleader, who was back in London, saying, the cops are here, what do you want me to do? And he told her to back out and to return back. And she said, are you sure there's only one of them, or words to that effect? And he said, yeah, come back, because of the risk. I knew, having seen that in the report, that's going to be really important for us to prove her guilt.
As DC Norman and the team try to piece together this hugely complex puzzle, the data confirms their worst fears, that the 3 Dorset victims are not alone.
There was another photograph of a lady holding up a spread of cash to the screen. Well, clearly this is another victim. And we could see other names, other addresses on other dates. So it led to another 9 victims being identified. It was nationwide: Luton, Huddersfield, Manchester, London. So one of the 9 victims that we identified was a lady from the London area.
He knew how old I was. He knew how I paid my bill. He knew everything about me. Then he said to me, oh, you don't even sound like your age. I thought, oh, he was very nice and all that, not knowing he was the wickedest person in the world.
She was typical of the ultra-vulnerable victims that had already been targeted.
Victims may feel gullible or stupid when they are frauded because they believe that they should have acted in a different way.
This 76-year-old grandmother is an active member of her local church and wishes to remain anonymous.
I was very upset. I didn't even know where to start to tell my family. It wasn't easy for me at all.
The criminals use social engineering. This is a skill which engages people's emotions so it bypasses their critical thinking.
I was like a robot. Do this, do that, and I don't know where I was at the moment. So I went to the bank, withdraw the money, not knowing he was tracking me. So when I got home, oh, you are home now. How did he know I'm home? Then he said, oh, somebody will come and pick the money up. The minute he finished saying that, the bell rang, and I went outside and gave the 2,000 to the person. I was not thinking right. It's just like somebody putting a spell on you to do things that they want you to do.
In total, she was defrauded of over £17,000.
With all the victims, this crime has impacted them, whether it's financially, practically, emotionally.
For about 2 months, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. I didn't know what I was doing with myself.
With at least 12 victims, Dorset police now have a mammoth nationwide investigation on their hands.
We were able to identify from a geographical area which constabulary is responsible for that person, and some of the victims had actually reported those matters already to their local police force.
Officers pieced together the information coming back from forces around the country. And at last, a year since the start of the investigation, there's a major breakthrough.
Elderly people are very good at making notes. They kept telling me they were from Trans Global Services, and they gave me the password motorcycle, which featured in all our crimes.
This vital piece of information links all the victims nationally, allowing Dorset police to piece together the operation.
There are younger people, 20s and 30s. I guess during lockdown, they saw opportunities. The ringleader and the person in India had come together by working for a telecommunications company in this country. So there was a common interest and a common knowledge, and whether that gave them the requisite skills in IT, whether potentially it gave them access to records about people with speculation.
13 months after the first interviews, Dorset police called the 2 main suspects in for a second interview.
You're here on a voluntary attendance basis, so you're not under arrest.
Yeah.
The victim, Miss... Does that name mean anything to you?
No comment.
Have you travelled up to Huddersfield?
No comment.
She withdrew £4,700 that was collected by a courier, and the courier is described as male, Oriental, about 20 years old, 5'10", short dark hair, wearing a mid-grey tracksuit. Does that match your description?
No comment.
Oriental in appearance?
No comment.
5'10".
No comment.
Short dark hair, which you have?
No comment.
She described that person because you collected the money, didn't you?
No comment.
When DC Norman presented the suspects with this damning evidence, they answered no comment to all questions posed.
Undeterred, they bring in the female courier who'd appeared in the WhatsApp messages.
The female courier, she had no previous convictions and little criminal history.
She had been used on a couple of runs. She was known to both of the suspects. They clearly had some form of history, so we wanted to explore what her role was and how much she knew about what she was doing.
Our inquiries indicate that you may have been involved in going to collect money from elderly people. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand. I did not want to know it was fraud. I didn't know that it was causing all this trouble to these elderly people. I only thought that I was collecting a parcel, giving it to that's all I knew.
Okay.
So I would drive to the address he gave me.
Yeah.
And then he said he'd give me a special password.
Do you remember what that password was?
I actually do, because they were quite silly words like motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
And he
Right.
told
Did he give
to
you the
go.
name of the person that you were expecting from?
And he'd just say, as soon as I've got the parcel, to call him and to tell him, and then to go straight to him. The only thing I wasn't allowed to do was open them.
She very much distanced herself from the offending, saying that she was none the wiser and had some legitimate reason for the travel and engagement with the UK-based ringleader.
She had a general idea that he worked in car parts, so that kind of made sense to her, and she got paid a pretty small amount, sort of £50 a trip, plus some expenses. From what you've said, you were instructed by is that right?
Yes.
Is that right on all occasions, or did anyone else tell you what to do?
No, I was told by...
Okay. Was there any pressure to do what you did for him?
Not pressure.
What?
Looking back at it now, knowing the severity, no, I don't think it was pressure, but if I had been told the whole circumstances, that would have been a complete different story.
When I checked my phone, I found out that the bank had been sending messages. I checked on my account and found out that everything was gone. I nearly killed myself.
Dorset Police Special Ops CID are working hard to gather evidence to convict an organised crime gang, targeting the vulnerable and elderly during lockdown.
From dealing with fraud previously of like MO, we have seen this, where there is an international element to the operation.
DC Norman is interviewing a female courier who maintains that she is an innocent participant in the fraud.
She very much downplayed any involvement or guilty knowledge. She said that she was running errands for the ringleader. So this is all last year, so 2020. Did you come down to Bournemouth to collect a parcel?
I don't recall, but I don't believe so.
Okay.
DC Norman shares some ANPR evidence, proving her car travelled from London to Barbara's house on the 5th of May to collect cash.
The maps I'm showing you now relates to offence that happened on the 5th of May 2020 in relation to Barbara. This map shows a silver Vauxhall Corsa with your registration number, and it shows in starting at 10:27 in the morning in this area of London. That's a route that your car took on the 5th of May. Okay. Do you remember making that journey?
No, but if it's my car, then for sure it was me, because no one else drives it. Again, it was, I don't want to say I did, because I don't.
Okay.
Still underplaying her involvement, DC Norman shares her WhatsApp messages with the UK ringleader.
Related to the journey that happened on the 5th of May in relation to Barbara, the victim. So he texted you the postcode at about 10:30 in the morning, and then you've messaged him at 11:05. Forgot to say, but we are already on our way. You then messaged him to say, Fed's here, and that's 2:06. What did you mean by that?
Well, Feds, say police. That must have been the day that the police was there and I was told to call.
Did you know he was interested in why the police were there?
No.
Did that cause you any concern at all?
No, because while I was doing this, I wasn't really doing it with an intention that I was committing a crime, so I wasn't really thinking of why.
Okay, so you messaged him at 2:07. No with us, but it's only one guy. Did you mean one guy as it's only one policeman?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you remember sending an image to?
I believe so, yeah, that day I did.
Okay. So in this picture, there's a police car, there's a policeman, and there's an elderly lady in a red jacket. Did you know who that lady was or what the relevance of that lady in the red jacket?
I didn't know that lady and I didn't know anyone that I met.
The ringleader had told her to abort the pickup.
He said, just head home and I'll pay you later. You said, yeah, all right. You said, don't you want us to wait till they go? They went inside some house. Is that right?
Possibly.
What it might look like to myself and others potentially is that you knew that you were collecting cash and that you knew that there was a risk in it. And when you've seen the police, you've panicked a bit.
No, because I didn't know I was collecting the cash, so there was nothing to be scared of.
Despite the female courier denying she knew that the pickup was a criminal act, the photograph of Barbara and the messages appear to prove otherwise. Dorset Police and the CPS charged the 3 suspects with a series of courier fraud offences committed between the 23rd of April and the 5th of June 2020.
The CPS authorised charges. It's an overriding conspiracy to commit fraud, and with a conspiracy, you can include multiple offences over a specific period of time.
They stole over £70,000 nationwide in a matter of weeks. And this could be just the tip of the iceberg of a massive international operation, headed up by Basil, who remains elusive in India.
frustrating that we haven't been able to prosecute the overseas offender. He wasn't within UK, governed by UK law, in which case we could deal with him proactively. We shared information in relation to him with relevant law enforcement agencies internationally so that they could complete inquiries on our behalf. It would just be nice to know that he was facing justice in one way or another.
After 4 years investigating 12 frauds carried out all over the country, the court date is set for April 2024.
We had our team in place, witnesses in place. Our case is watertight and robust.
But DC Norman receives tragic news that could jeopardise the entire prosecution.
Barbara she would have been one of our star witnesses. She'd been through an awful lot. She'd been a victim multiple times. She'd lost a significant amount of money. However, Barbara had been taken into hospital with ill health and she wasn't going to be able to attend court.
But in a bizarre twist of fate, 2 months prior to the trial, the suspects appear to lose their nerve.
The ringleader pleaded guilty on the 28th of February 2023. They know what the evidence is and they can't provide a reasonable account for it because they're guilty.
Shortly after, the main courier follows suit.
We've put them into a corner by saying, look, this is the strength of the evidence. Are you going to stand there in front of a jury of 12 and explain your involvement in this case and hope to convince them that you're not guilty?
When the trial begins, only the female courier still maintains her plea of not guilty.
The female courier actually pleaded guilty a couple of days into proceedings. She waited right to the last minute. Those little golden nuggets like the photograph was really crucial because she must have reached a point where she could say, well, I can't explain why I took that photo other than I was involved in this crime.
Now all three have entered a plea of guilty. The court retires for the judge to decide their sentences.
The female courier got 16 months in prison, suspended for 2 years, but she also got 280 hours unpaid work. The main courier got 32 months in prison. The ringleader, the sentencing started at 6 years, but because he pleaded guilty, an early opportunity, that was reduced to 4 years. I was really satisfied with the outcome. It was 4 years of work. The victims in this case all lost a significant amount of money, £71,000 in total, £44,000 directly through courier collections. And very sadly, in the intervening period between what would have been the trial and the sentencing, Barbara died of ill health, so she never saw them being sentenced.
I do think it's sad that Barbara and Richard passed away. They were targeted by the offenders in their final few years and the impact that that will have had on their lives.
Fraud is escalating. For the 80% that aren't reporting, please do report to us. We don't think you're stupid, we don't think you're gullible, and that information, you could save somebody else.
I was happy that they pleaded guilty. Yeah, I was very happy. They could have given them more years. Yes, because to do someone, you can kill someone, so they should have given them more years.